Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of Liar Liar by Winter Austin, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1. Sober Saturday night, number 912. 19 years dry. Enough time to move on, to forget what happened that night 19 years ago. Yet the anniversary would roll around and he couldn't stop the binge. Sipping on those memories, drowning them one after another, drowning them in, until he was drunk, letting her take him to a dark place in his soul he could never purge. By dawn's light, he was left wasted and broken, a shell of a man, lying on the floor, another piece of his soul lost, buried with her in that cold, dark hole. Shane Hamilton had lived in this hell for so long, it became a ritual. Every April he prepared for it, taking off the day of and the day after. Even during those bleak 6 years where he was dodging bullets and bombs, he was swirling in a black abyss. This year, the anniversary fell on a Saturday. Hands braced on the tile wall as he watched the water snake along his body and pool at his bare feet. No matter what effort he put into cleansing his body or mind and soul, the water never baptized him of his sins. Twinkling under the harsh electric lights, the slim gold circle danced and twirled at the end of the silver chain. She had danced and twirled under the smoky haze of neon lights, laughing and flirting, making promises that never came true. Shane gripped the diamond ring, ceasing its merry spin, and flattened it to its chest. The emergency room doctor had removed it from her finger and given it to Shane, pity gleaming in the man's eyes. The doctor's fingers were heavy as they pressed the ring into his palm. The memory of the band's slick feel from the blood was branded into his palm. From then on, the ring dangled from a chain around his neck, settling in a place near his heart, a reminder of what he lost in a moment of stupidity. The jangle of his phone drifted into the bathroom. In the last half hour, he'd heard it go off 5 times. Lifting his face to the spray of the shower, he commenced with continuing to ignore the persistent caller. A thrumming ache wove through his muscles and seeped into his bones. Too many years on the rodeo circuit, riding some of the rankest broncs, and his multiple tours in the sandbox had left behind a different kind of pain he easily remedied with a few aspirins. Though it was getting difficult to ease the hurt, especially after a night spent on the hardwood floor. Shane turned 50 next month, but felt all of 70. Finishing his poor man's shower, he shut off the faucet and stepped out of the stall. Once more, the old-fashioned telephone ring of his cell phone reached him. Telling off, he turned his back to the open door. Sunday morning rays peeked through the gaping brown plaid curtains. Before passing his way, his mother had decorated her little haven with homely touches only a cowboy like himself would enjoy. She had done it because she missed her husband, who passed away 2 years before she did, and for Shane, who was to inherit the family farm. His mother must have believed in her heart he'd leave this world as a bachelor, never daring to step into the minefield of love again. In reverence to his saintly mother, Shane hadn't changed a thing. He wrapped the towel around his waist and staggered into his bedroom to dress. Another homage to his parents, he hadn't bothered to take up residence in the master bedroom, choosing to instead stay in his old childhood bedroom, but updating the sleeping space to more adult accommodations. Shane avoided the bed with its twisted sheets, heading straight for this single dresser in the room. He pulled on a pair of jeans and skipped his duty shirt. Today was a dark blue plaid shirt kind of day. Finger combing his tightly coiled hair, he stepped into his boots and carefully picked a path down the hall. Each step sent flares of pain up his spine. It might be time to reconsider taking up Doc Drummond on his offer to make an appointment with an arthritis specialist in Iowa City. A half-full pot of coffee beckoned. After pouring a cup, he placed the pot back on the warmer. With the stout mug pressed to his lips, he inhaled the aroma of dark roast, then sipped the strong brew. During his travels all over the world, Shane had fallen in love with Louisiana's community coffee. He sniffed, reality punching him in the gut. Louisiana had been his little trick writer's home state. Community had been her favorite coffee, and what he'd loved too. Today was going to be rough. He had to find a way to get past this. As he rummaged through the cabinets, he upended a box of Pop-Tarts. He snatched a packet and tore it into the foil with his teeth. He grunted as he bit through both pastries, almost 50 and still eating like a kid. If she could see him now, she'd probably laugh. His phone went off like an air raid siren. Fuck it to hell and back. He made a crooked path to the table where the infernal machine continued to squeal. 7 missed calls and 18 text messages glared at him. Shit. He stabbed a blunt finger at the speakerphone icon. Murdoch, this better be damn important to interrupt me on my sabbatical. How damn important is it to you if there's a body in the river, boss? Thumbs hooked in his belt loop, Shane surveyed the scene. Next to him, rising into the spring morning, the bridge rumbled with the sound of passing vehicles. The body drifted face down in the frigid waters, bobbing and bumping against the tangle of branches and river debris. None of his deputies had disturbed the scene, whip-smart people he had here, until he arrived. Their floater wore dark brown slacks, a white dress shirt, and black socks. His shoes and coat were MIA. Shane couldn't tell the actual color of the man's hair. The water had darkened it. No suspicious death in his county was good, but this one was giving him a bad case of the hives. Anything recognizable about him? He hollered to Deacon Nash. The normally jovial deputy paused as he picked his way along the shoreline to get closer to the body. Sir, no disrespect, but could you shut the hell up and let me do my thing? Shane smothered a smile behind his hand. Most sheriffs wouldn't put up with any lip from their deputies. He had learned long ago, thanks in part to a truly mouthy and tough as nails former deputy, that he garnered more respect from his people when he gave them enough rope to hang him with. Though the McIntyre County Sheriff's Department was small, they were a well-oiled machine. A petite redhead sidled up next to him with her arms crossed at her chest and joined in, surveying the mess before them. Deputy Jolie Murdoch was his shiniest and youngest deputy and also the former sheriff's daughter. She'd proven Shane right last year when he pegged her as his new investigator. Once an unsure, slightly gun-shy rookie, Murdoch was now a full-fledged cop with enough tart to make your mouth pucker. Sabbatical? Really? Hey, if it gets the minions to leave me alone, I'll call it an orgy. Not even remotely funny. Murdoch did a poor job of holding back her smile. Detective O'Hanlon is on his way. Slowpoke. Shane's best friend's satirical Irish humor was always the pick-me-up he needed in times like these, along with Khan's experienced eye as Eider's only investigator. ETA on DCI? 3 hours out. Appears no one wanted to be roused this early on a Sunday morning. Then again, the woman on the line muttered something about, "You've had enough killings down there. You should be experts in evidence collection by now." Be my guest. She shook her head vehemently. Way above my pay grade. Shane checked his watch. Doc Drummond will be here right after he checks on his patients. That was a half hour ago. Apparently Nash gave up trying to avoid getting wet and waded into the water. Holy, this is cold for a brother. Carefully making his way over the rocks, he walked right up to the body. There's blood on the shirt. Maybe he injured himself before falling into the river, Shane muttered. He didn't need nor want another homicide. He just wanted a smooth 4 years. Suicide? Murdoch asked. Good God Almighty, he didn't need that either. Nash tipped the body, then, with a heave, flipped it. Once it stopped violently rocking, Nash steadied the deceased. His gaze shot up to the hill to Shane. Sheriff? It was a familiar face. Oh my God, Murdoch gasped. Is that? I'm afraid so. Nash, grab a camera and take pictures. Both of you comb the shoreline and the debris for any evidence. If DCI wants to take forever to get to the party, then we'll do cleanup. Once Doc Drummond gets here, haul our victim out of the water. Shane turned and hiked up the hill. Sheriff, what do you think happened? Murdoch asked, stopping him in his tracks. He turned to her. It's a homicide, deputy. Someone decided Mr. Gene Avery needed to die. He about-faced and resumed his march up the hill. Where are you going? She called after him. To visit the man's widow and give her the bad news. then lock himself in his office and wish he could drink away this monster of a headache that was about to bring the folks of McIntyre County to his front door with their proverbial pitchforks and torches.